I can't really explain this, but I've always been able to see weird things other people can't. As a child growing up in my house, I would experience things my sister and parents weren't able to. Sometimes I could even catch a shadow figure in the hallway when I knew no one else was home. Or I'd notice things were moved like a pot or a pan, but nobody else would pick up on it. I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant or anything, it's just that I'm able to notice these activities when no one else can. About a year ago, my wife and I decided to take a trip to Lassen Park to do some hiking. I like to take hikes in the woods, although my wife usually doesn't like the experience. She gets bored very quickly. My idea of a good time is going fishing or camping. Her idea of a good time is playing on her laptop and drinking red wine. Somehow I convinced her to take a couple days off work, and she agreed to go hiking with me. We decided to take the journey during the winter, as I like how scenery looks in the cold months. I've been hiking a lot of the Great Trail since I moved to California a couple years ago, but I've never been to Lassen Peak. I had heard the views from the top were breathtaking, as you can see areas from where it had erupted in the past. We got to the trail later on in the afternoon. It was 5 miles long, so I figured I can get it done in about 2 to 3 hours. I remember starting the trail, and I couldn't shake this feeling like someone was watching us. I kept turning around thinking I'd see someone staring back at me. After I did this a few times, my wife asked me what I was doing. When I told her I thought someone was watching us, she said I was just being paranoid. About a couple miles into the trail, my wife and I would stop to take in the scenery. As I looked around, I saw a figure slowly walk behind some trees and then disappear. I told my wife, but again, she said I was just being paranoid. The farther we walked on the trail, the more I felt like there was a presence stalking us. After a while, we were on the last mile and nightfall was approaching. This is when I started to hear the voices. Whispers, really, that sounded like they were coming from the woods. I asked my wife what they were, and she said she couldn't hear anything. Just as the whispers stopped, I saw a faceless figure appear just ahead of the trail. And I mean faceless. He had no eyes, a nose, or mouth. He was right in front of us, but my wife was standing there like nothing was happening. When I looked back at the man, he was gone. When I asked my wife why she didn't seem alarmed, she told me she didn't see anybody on the trail. To this day, I know I saw something. It wasn't just my imagination running wild. There was someone, something, there on that trail with us. What it was exactly, I don't know.